Thank you, Madam President. Palestinian children know death in all its facets and all its horror. The death they experience, the death they endure, the death they witness, and the one they barely survived so far. All 1 million Palestinian children in Gaza have endured agony. Not a single one of them was spared. The most conservative estimates are that 50,000 Palestinian children have been killed or maimed in Gaza, out of 1 million Palestinian children there. This is without accounting for those still under the rubble. 50,000 Palestinian children killed or maimed. That would be the equivalent of 700,000 British, French, or German children killed or maimed. That would be the equivalent of 3.5 million American children killed or maimed. That would be the equivalent of 150,000 Israeli children killed or maimed. Reflect on these numbers. What would be happening in these walls or outside of these walls if it was Israeli children? But for some, the comparison cannot stand. They are not Israeli. They are just Palestinian. We will never accept or tolerate the idea that Palestinian lives are less sacred, that our people are expendable, that Palestinian parents mourn their children less, or that our children feel pain less, that their killing is acceptable or less grave, that those killing them have a legitimate claim to supremacy that makes them immune to condemnation and to being held accountable. And no one should accept these double standards, especially when it comes to children. The same who evoke genocide every single time an Israeli is killed express outrage that we evoke genocide following the killing and maiming of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, many of whom are children, and following the destruction by Israel of all the requirements of life for over 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. All children are entitled to life, to freedom, to dignity, to security. They are entitled to their childhood. Those who have to ask what is the nationality of that child, what is the faith of that child, what is the race of that child, to know if they should be outraged or shaken by their fate, cannot claim to value human life, cannot claim that they honor international law, and cannot claim that they defend humanity. We should all denounce, we should all stand against seeing children killed, maimed, held captive, regardless of who they are and what group they belong to. We pursue a different future without occupation or violence, where all children are safe, where Palestinian children are safe, where Israeli children are safe, where all children around the world are safe. That is the manner to be consistent and honor the law and humanity. Madam President, Palestinian children are killed, maimed, orphaned, starved, displaced, traumatized. Who thinks there could be any justification for taking away their lives, their limbs, their loved ones? Can you imagine the level of dehumanization you need for these crimes to continue? 628 days now of killing children on live TV, of starving children on live TV, of maiming children on live TV. Every day you see our children burning, dying, suffocating under the rubble. And no one has been held accountable. Not a single person has been held accountable to this day. In response to our description of the agony of our children, the Israeli representative a few days ago quoted Golda Meir, the former Israeli prime minister, who said, "Peace will come when the Arabs will love their children more than they hate us." Is there anything more dehumanizing than denying the love Palestinian parents carry for their children? They hate the Israeli occupation because of what it does to their children. You see the images of Palestinian parents towering to try to protect their children. And you see them crushed when they fail to do so. You see them holding their bodies tight, whether they are dead or alive, as they tear the earth to get them from under the rubble, as they try to heal with their hands their burns, because there's no medicine, nothing to heal our children from the burns. They watch them burning. If we loved our children enough, this would be over. How much hate do they need to have for us to do this? You see the parents risking their lives to get food for their children, to feed their loved ones. You see them now every day as if it was normal now. It's part of the routine. 30 Palestinians killed trying to get aid. 40 Palestinians killed trying to get aid. Treated as cattle, shot. A group of victims that didn't exist before. People trying to get aid. We add them to the humanitarians, to the doctors, to the journalists, to the UN staff, to the people, to the children, to the women, to the men. Now we add, and the people who are trying to get aid. Every single day. And now what does UNICEF tell you? After the famine, they might die of thirst. Occupation-engineered famine, occupation-engineered thirst. And then Israeli leaders come to you and they say, we are protecting you. We are defending civilization against barbarism. This is civilization. You don't recognize it behind all these barbaric acts? Let me quote. They are targeting a hospital. The quotation starts. They are targeting a hospital. In this hospital, there are patients who are immobile, who can't even move. Right next to it, it's a children's ward, a baby's ward. Infants they targeted. They can give this nonsense that they're targeting military sites. What military sites? They are targeting civilians because they are a criminal regime. You know who this quote is from? Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, speaking at an Israeli hospital damaged by an impact of an Iranian missile. Does he have amnesia? He forgot how they destroyed all the hospitals of the Gaza Strip, how they bombed them systematically. He forgot the images of Palestinian babies dying in incubators because we couldn't get them out, of having to move wounded people on stretchers amidst the rubble. He forgot how they arrested doctors who are still today arrested or who have died in detention under torture, stripped and raped and died, Palestinian doctors, or if they are Palestinian, it doesn't matter. It's not as outrageous. It's not as unacceptable. Yesterday, the Israeli representatives told you human shields. That's why we have to kill all Palestinians. They are human shields. So we shoot at all of them. We bombed them with massive bombs. And he was outraged, the use of human shields. The United Nations verified the use of 27 Palestinian boys in the past year by Israeli occupation forces as human shields in Gaza and in the West Bank. Boys, the Israeli army used as human shields. But they're outraged of the use of human shields, as long as it's not about them using them. When they use it, it's civilization. You have to understand that. They're different. They're a different group of people. And we are a different group of people. The same rules do not apply. They told you holding remains is barbaric. We all agree. Everyone is entitled to the dignified burial of their loved ones. That should be the principle. But they withhold, the government of Israel withholds Palestinian bodies. Some for 30 years were withheld by Israel. But it's not barbarism when Israel does it. Israeli barbaric acts are civilization. Our very existence is barbarism to them. Our children are being described as monsters. By the monsters, killing them, starving them, maiming them, abducting them, torturing them, harassing them, traumatizing them. Those who left them with no food, no water, no shelter above their heads, no school, no hospital, no hope, no life, and no limbs. Those who dare come here and scold the world for criticizing their actions. We sat many times in this chamber as UN representatives had to sit through the bashing, bullying, insults, incitement, and threats of Israeli representatives against them. You saw it many times happening here. And while the UN staff on the ground was being killed or maimed or detained or tortured based on that incitement against the United Nations. And yet, unfortunately, I have to say that yesterday the special representative of the Secretary General could not sit through the calm and argumented criticism of Algeria for the shortcomings of her office in the implementation of its mandate. At a moment where 17,000 Palestinian children have been killed, at the very least, 17,000, where 40,000 Palestinian children have lost one or both parents, where 4,000 have been amputated, where 1 million are being starved. We're not entitled to criticize the shortcomings of the SRSG. She cannot bear to sit through that criticism. I can only imagine if a UN representative had stood and left the room while being criticized by an Israeli representative. What would happen? I'm not sure they would keep their position. But Israelis are different. Palestinians are different. No, our lives are not less sacred, and we are entitled to our outrage. Madam President, the world called for an immediate ceasefire, for the release of hostages and prisoners, for immediate entry of humanitarian aid, for the withdrawal of Israeli forces. And nothing is happening. But where is the sense of urgency? Where is the deterrence? Where is the accountability to stop a genocide? We cannot say negotiations are ongoing, and in the meantime they're killing thousands of Palestinians upon thousands, using the distribution of aid to forcibly displace them, telling you clearly that they want to end Palestinian life in Gaza by forcibly displacing our people and seizing our land. 2 million people on 16% of Gaza today, they are confined. 16% of Gaza, squeezed through the distribution of aid. Starvation as a method of warfare and distribution of aid for military purposes by Israel. Palestinian children are subjected to all of this for one reason. You should be convinced by now. One reason alone, whether they are in Gaza or in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, whether at the hands of Israeli occupation forces or settlers. They have committed a crime. They were born Palestinian. In the eyes of Israel, that is the ultimate crime. Because our existence is a problem. They want the land, and they want to get rid of the people that belongs to that land. They are part of a people they want to see disappear, and they are acting upon it. And there is a collective duty to fight back, to act, to do whatever is necessary in line with international law to bring this genocide to an end. Our common world is ending in Gaza. It can only be saved starting from Gaza. Save Gaza so we all can be saved by Gaza. We see the overwhelming solidarity here and around the world. We see the principled position, the mobilization. Virtually the whole world stands with Gaza, and yet Gaza stands alone. And it will continue standing alone as long as we allow this genocide to continue. Save the children of Gaza and this genocide. Thank you, Madam President.